Hey girl,
Hi.
what's up? You know what? I like it. I like your hair up and I like your hair down. I think you look so cute.
Thank you. I love your hair because I'm just like I just need to have you in my pocket so you can do mine because
Hmm.
this is laziness.
Oh, no, you can't tell. And especially with the danglies. See, you can get away with danglies. I can only get away with hoops. I don't have a face for
Ooh, I
danglies.
love hoops.
Me too. Got my island girl on too today.
I know I like that.
Thank you. Island girl. Let me
I
stop.
have on my island shirt too.
Woo! Aloha. Yes, girl. Yes. Get. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's
Yes, get
Ekolu
it.
and it's a band on Maui. Ekolu means three.
Hmm. I like. Girl, yeah. But like I was saying, shoot, I was talking about Alicia Keys. I used to have a whole stack of CDs. Like if the only thing people would know me for collector's items back in the 2000s and 2010s was those flip. I used to have like a
Flip
good
book.
hundred of CDs
The big book.
with a big case, right? And it was almost like a case that had a lock on it almost. It's like, dang, I had Jaheim,
Oh
girl. I had
no. I had the
Fabulous.
zipper.
I had Fabulous. I had Jaheim. Then I started getting to Mace. I mean, I had Nas. I had girl, all woof,
Did you
ooh,
say
all the class.
mace?
Mace, girl. Yes.
I haven't heard that
Ah,
name in a minute.
girl, Mace make me hot, man. Whew, I be getting hot listening to Mace. Like, oh my God, Mace. Oh,
That's hilarious. I love
yes,
that.
girl. Yes, I love
Mace. Wasn't he
Mace.
with Diddy?
But he left though, right?
Wasn't he
Something
part of the
happened. They had
Diddy
a
crew?
fallout. They had a
Oh,
fall.
they did?
They had girl. He ain't what Mason. I'm sorry. He ain't what Diddy no more. He is long gone from that whole Diddy
Where is he?
group.
Did he like die? Like what, where is
No,
he?
he's got his own podcast. He even just made this horrible joke about Kamala, about her asking for $40. What you gonna do for 40? It was bad, girl. It was bad. But
What?
yeah, Mace is still there. He does his own podcast. I think with
Okay.
Hannah.
I'll have to check it out. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's still funny. He's still Mace. But Mace had a turnaround. Like he came
Okay.
out with a CD. He was a good boy. He was a bad boy gone good. Now he came back good. He came back good. And I mean, me and my kid listened to that song too. It was, and I like that. It was
Oh, I know that
keep your
song.
keep your clothes on. Dun, dun,
Oh,
dun.
I don't know. But when you said I like that, I think I know it, that's the hook, right? That was the chorus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I forget. Yeah, I'm almost forgetting that, but yeah. So anyway, those were the days when we had CDs. I done lost all those CDs, and boy, that was a day I might as well have had a funeral, because it was just so many CDs. I just had so much fun listening to those, popping those CDs in, just changed my whole life. And I was such a loner too, so
Yeah.
the music really would just change my whole world. I mean, music has a way of healing you and taking you to another
Mm-mm.
place, especially maybe going through something. You know,
That happened to
music
me
really.
today, actually. I had a big old fat cry. And
Oh.
it was a song that it's a song actually by Stan Walker, and it's called I Am, and it resonates deeply with me because like with New Zealand and the Maori people and the language and the land. And I was listening, and I've listened to it a million times. It's not like I've never heard the song. But he also has another song, Take Me Back to the River. That was the
Mhm.
first song that came on, and I was like, "Oh, this is beautiful." And I think that was the starting that was the starting point. And then I Am was right after it, and I was like,
Oh, wow. You know,
sobbing.
and when you sob like that, it's like your heart chakra is all open, like the floodgates is coming on out. It's like your heart chakra getting a great cleanse.
Yes, my
Mhm.
eyelashes. I was like, "Oh, my eyelashes are about to be like on my face."
Oh, you don't need eyelashes, girl. You got eyelashes.
I do have eyelashes, but every now and again, like the short one, I don't know, they're weird. But
Mhm.
I get the very, very thin eyelashes because I can't do the caterpillar
Yeah.
thing. They look like my eyelashes. They're very thin.
Oh,
But
okay.
anyway, it was a great cry, and the music between the music and the language that I've been getting better at, and going back to New Zealand in the beginning of the year, I'm supposed to be.
Very
Um,
good. Yeah, knock on wood, right?
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I
for
know
my
you're
friend's
gonna make it.
wedding. So all of it combined, and I've needed to cry for about a month.
Oh,
But I was sick for like a week. So I didn't want to cry. You know what I mean? Because then I couldn't do
yeah,
it.
because then
I'm
it
like,
makes your no. Yeah, girl, I know that's right.
I was like, no, let me, no, I need to clean some of this out first.
Ooh,
Then I'll cry. And today
yeah.
that was it. So yeah,
Man, well, hey, I will be living vicariously through you whenever you make it down to New Zealand again. Oh my gosh, like I definitely want to go. I mean, I think that's such an exotic place, you know?
it's amazing. It's amazing. I remember when I was there, I remember in 2009 when I was there, and I'm standing there and I was just like, I feel like I'm home. And it was so weird. And it's like, I wasn't born on this island, but this feels like home.
Mm.
And it's the one place in the entire world that I have, and I have family and friends there, but I don't know. It's like I know that you and I both are, well, everyone's indigenous to a land, to the land, right? But I don't know I don't know, maybe there is a Hollis tribe actually on the North Island and the South Island, which is interesting. So when I'm there, I'm gonna see if I can't go find some folks, probably on the North Island, probably not on the South Island, but yeah, it's been, I don't know, it's an amazing place. And if you can get there, get there. The flight is
How long?
ridiculous.
22 hours?
In the air, you're about from the DC area, you're in the air for 21 hours.
Ooh, girl.
It's a long time.
You know, yeah, it's like we would have to do some altar work before heading on that long prayers and miracles and altar work and candles. She's like, I have become more of a train girl and a car girl these last few years.
I understand. I understand, but man, it's worth it.
It's totally worth it.
But you
You
have to
know,
stay longer than 3 weeks because
yeah,
of the jet lag. Like,
yeah.
if you go there for a week and then you come back, you're gonna be screwed because of the
It
time
does,
difference.
like you said, it doesn't seem like it would be worth just going for a week. You want to go for two. So when you go, like, do you stay with friends and family
Mhm.
or, oh, very good. See, you know what? I see how you be doing it. You have some really reliable friends and family. I love that. Yeah, that's how you do it. I mean, it makes sense because
Absolutely.
then, I mean, that's kind of what you're there for
Yep.
as well,
Yep.
visiting them as well as relaxing. And then I think that would be really cool to get back to your roots and go to the North
Yeah.
Island and see what's going on.
Yes, I would love to see if I don't know. I just don't know. So I'd like to go see and try to get some answers.
Clarity.
Yeah,
Now,
some
what, well, let me ask you, what would you be trying to find out? You'd be trying to find out like more tribal customs and culture and family, genealogy and stories and, you
that
know, roots.
everything, all of it. Because with my Native American stuff here, my mom's told me about it growing up, but that's all I know. I don't have names. I don't have squat.
Oh, yeah.
So, I've called the tribal office in Southern Virginia. Um, and she's like, well, you could try da da da. She's like, I know of Cherokee and Shawnee. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but I have a map of every tribe in the United States, and there's a lot.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, oh snap, like 1,000 daggone, like there's so many tribes.
Yeah.
So, people are like, oh, I'm Cherokee. And I'm like, okay, cool. But like,
Well,
where are you from? Like,
yeah.
because,
Yeah. Which Cherokee?
right, right. And so one of I call her my sister, just like I call you my sister. One of my sisters, she's Native, she's Blackfoot and, oh gosh, Cinnabon. something like that. I think that's, I can't remember how you pronounce it, but because I always have to say cinnamon bun or cinnabon.
Mhm.
Um, and that's how she like makes a joke about it, but Cinnaboyan, maybe that's it. I don't know. I don't want to butcher it. But we're gonna be going up to Montana. So I'll be coming out west and we're gonna be going up to Montana to Billings and we're gonna be in like because she's like, okay, I'll help you like look down the lineage and like try to put things together. She's teaching me how to bead
Oh,
and make things and stuff like that. It's been interesting. It's been an interesting couple of years.
because you've been becoming more like getting more connected to your tribal roots.
Mm.
Do you feel like when you went to Hawaii that
Hmm.
you felt more connected? What did you learn from emerging yourself into Hawaiian tribal culture? Did you feel any connection to Hawaiian like
Not as
indigenous?
much to the
Okay,
land.
to the land. Okay,
I still felt it like at the beach, right? I felt the sun and the beach.
yeah,
I didn't feel it as much there. It
more of an
wasn't the
elemental
same.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, the people are cool. Absolutely not not the same energy feeling for me
yeah.
though
As
as on
New
New
Zealand.
Zealand.
Yep. Because New Zealand's probably home for you because I know what you mean. Like, I know what the Bahamas feels like for me, being my homeland, even though I've lost my accent. But
I want to hear it come out.
I mean, if you want to do a comedy show, I mean, we can switch over.
Oh, stop. I'm sure it's there. I'm sure like
Oh,
once you
oh
get
no, it's. I mean, it totally is. I mean, but I mean, and I love doing accents, but it's very elongated, like
okay.
more, and it's very slight, like that. Like it could
Okay.
almost like it's a very slight. If you were to watch Bahamas Life,
Oh,
some of the accents on there almost is just like very elongated, like they just elongate the vowels,
like
and it
Jamaican?
can sound just like that. So it's like it's almost enunciations with the t's and with the o and then with the vowels being long. So yeah,
Okay, because that doesn't sound like it would be a thick accent at all.
it
Just
isn't. It can be again, but then also the accents vary from island to island too.
okay.
So it's like Grand Bahama is only 40 miles from, and that's where I mostly had most of my accent was from Grand Bahama, but it's 40 miles off the coast of Florida. So I
Wow.
mean, it's like we're only 40 miles away. It's not that thick at all. It can sound like, Bahamian sound just like an American. And
Interesting. Right.
yeah. So, I mean, I could do it, but it would be like, it's not like a Jamaican accent. It could be like,
It's not thick.
child, I see, it's like, you know, what would my aunt say to me right now? And how would she say it? Child, Kristen, you need to get on over here. It was like very like, child, it's just like everything's just like very, again, it's just long out. That's all. And then Tingham, get that Tingham up, get that Tingham over there, and I'm still doing it too fast.
Oh,
I'm still doing it too fast. But I
okay.
mean, and then I could sound so proper with it too. I have to really
Oh,
get
that's
down.
right. You did send me a recording, I think of what was it, of her? Remember
Yeah, my
ages
aunt one time.
ago.
Yeah. So you could hear it, but it's not like a Jamaican accent. This is a Bahamian accent,
Yeah.
where,
But
yeah.
I could, but from an untrained ear, like absolutely, you could relate it closely. It's obviously an island
Yeah,
accent.
I mean, I could sing the song, like I could sing a song that would sound, island girl, your heart is still in the Caribbean. Oh, island girl, you still hear my girlfriend say, hey, come back home to the land and the sun and the sea and the palmy beaches where your heart has always been since the very first day. I still miss Goombay summer every evening and the sailing boats. So you
I
see,
love it.
come back home come back home to the
Oh, I want to dance. Okay, we have to go to the Bahamas.
and that is Bahamian. So who let the dogs out? Whoop.
Oh,
That's
that
them.
guy?
That's a group. Yeah, that was their that's them.
Oh, it's a
That's one of
group.
their
Okay.
CDs. But that was so what happened was the original band was a different one, and then they got a new band with the same name and just made a completely new album, and that was Who Let the Dogs Out, and that started that whole new group. But the other group, the one that who I was just singing, was like my favorite. Like that's like the Junkanoo album. And
Okay.
Junkanoo is like our carnival. You know, we
Okay.
dress up in the crepe paper and all that. So,
That's the
but
kind of vibe that I got when you were singing it. I was like, I want to dance down the street.
and then the cowbells. Dun, dun, dun,
Oh,
dun, 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 dun. Nobody really see me like this, but I'm like, I really enjoy my island music.
I
Just
love that.
yeah, like it was in my CDs. It was one of the CDs. I mean, I remember my aunt, my late aunt, God rest her soul. She had sent me the Junkanoo album CD because I said, man, I really miss that, all those songs from the original Bahamut. And then she had it mailed to me.
Mm,
Yeah, and then I
I
was
love
listening to
that.
that. Yeah, I
So, what's
mean,
your favorite Bahamian dish?
that's a good question. You know what? I mostly eat kosher now. I know that sounds weird. I eat mostly kosher, meaning I don't eat pork or mollusks. So it's like
Ooh.
it's kind of weird, right? For an island person to say, actually, I don't eat crab,
I
or shrimp. I don't.
clutch my pearls.
I don't clutch your pearls. Yes, clutch them. But ever since I became like a nutritionist, and then I had 2 parasite infections. I mean, people people have heard me talk about this over and over again. But
Okay.
ever since that happened, I felt like it was a spiritual initiation that I had to get off of that. But if I were to go back in time to
Yes.
answer your question,
Yes.
the original Christian who
Yes.
was a meat eater that ate all kinds of meat and all kinds of I mean, I didn't do pork that often, but going answering your question, conch fritters hand down.
Ooh.
Conch is this mollusk that lives in the shell, and the conch shell we would blow from. Yeah, that same
I've never had conch.
yeah, it just rubbery, doesn't really taste like anything, but it
Oh.
tastes great in, again, conch salad. And conch salad
Ooh.
is just onions, tomatoes, not cucumber, but bell pepper, green bell peppers. And then we squeeze, I think it's either jalapeno pepper or some
Ooh.
or red pepper in that. Put the salt, put the lime. Ooh, salt and lime. I think that's it. Just the salt and the lime. You mix that all together and you chop up all that. Ooh, put that in the. Ooh, you lose your shit. You will lose your mind.
I'm just like, oh my God, I want to eat it right now.
Yep. And then we always serve it with a spoon. And then you be eating that and it's nice and peppery and seasoned. Oof, girl, it's good. Yeah. And then the conch fritters, it's like deep fried hush puppies, just instead they are soft and they have the pieces of conch in there. And I have to say one more dish, guava duff. Guava duff is where we boil. Yes, we boil a bread in the bag, right? And we put it in a pot. And
Okay.
everybody has guava, almost like how you would see those pumpkin swirl cakes where they have, cream in the middle. You know those
Yes.
loaves where it would
And
have the cream in the
you
middle.
have guava in it.
But we put guava in it, girl, and then it's soft because we boiled it
Oh
to
my
cook it.
God.
So then it's soft, super tender. And then we use as the icing.
Mm.
We put this butter and sugar, and we mix the butter and the sugar together as the icing, and we paste it on there. And then we make sure that when we serve the guava cake, it's hot. So then you put that paste on there and it melts. Woo! You about to have the itis. So tomorrow or the next
You
day
know
or the next.
what? I wonder if it's guava cake. Okay. The girlfriend that I stay with on Maui, she makes a guava cake. I
It might
wonder,
as well be the
I
same
didn't
thing.
get it. I didn't
Oh,
have any, but I wonder if it's the same.
it could be very similar because my mom would make a guava cake, whether it's guava cake or guava duff, but we call it guava duff. The guava cake, when my
Girl,
mom made a guava cake, was just as good as the guava duff. She
I
didn't
thought,
boil it, but she baked it, and it was still. I mean, it was delicious, and it was like, oh god. I mean, you're sneaking in there at night. This is when you heading down to the refrigerator at midnight, and you're like, man, I gotta have some of this. I don't care what diet I'm on. Let me hurry up
right,
and get some of
right.
this before anybody sees. And then you put.
Absolutely. Girl, when you said guava duck, I thought you said guava duck.
Oh
And I was
no,
like, guava duck?
gross. No,
That's
guava
different.
duff. Duff. This
Duck.
is no. This is you damn near painting that icing on the cake.
Oh my God, that sounds
Okay.
so freaking good. That's what I want right now.
Okay, and my brother-in-law who from the Chi, he's from the Chi, from the South Side, on the, and his mom was the type of mom who would, make fried chicken from scratch. So
Ooh.
she came over to our house, but when my mom was saying, "I'm gonna make guava duff," Tony would be, he's like, "Gigi," that's what you call my mom, "Gigi, you gotta make that duff," like. Even though his mom would make some of the best, and his mom was funny too. Like, she would make some of the best fried chicken and all kinds of really good, mac and cheese and stuff from scratch. He was still cuckooing about my mom's guava duff, so it was right. I could still say one more dish. This one is called chicken souse, which is those chicken drumlets, those little chicken, like when there's chicken wings, but it's the little mini, what do they call those again? Those little mini drumlets, the ones that aren't the wing, but it looks like almost a mini leg. What is that called?
I know what you're talking about. There, you get them with the wings.
Yeah.
But I call them the drumstick, but I know they're not a drumstick. But I know what you're talking about.
So we put a bunch of those in a pot. We cut up potatoes, right? We put it in water. We squeeze lime in there and put cloves in there. And you boil that. Okay. And onions. Chop that and throw it in there too.
Garlic too?
And garlic in there too. We boil that until the meat falls off the bone. And I think there's a little bit of oil in there too. A little bit of oil in there too. And and then you have that with what we call Johnny bread or Johnny cake. And that basically is a basic white bread, but go on.
But it's like a Johnny cake is like because in Jamaica they have what Johnny cake.
Exactly. It's the same.
Okay.
And then we'll serve that and then put butter on that. And then you're having that beautiful bowl of chicken south with the potatoes in there. Whoo! Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. Now you got me like craving all these things that, now as a vegan / vegetarian, it's like once in a very, very blue moon, you have to take me back to the islands to convert me again, at least for a day, right?
We should go to the Bahamas.
Girl, let's manifest it. Let's absolutely manifest and go.
We are going to the Bahamas.
Girl, yeah, we gonna do it.
Okay, and then we're gonna eat our way through the island.
Yeah, you gonna handle it. It's it's a lot of really tasty foods. It's so much hospitable. People down there. We are naturally hospitable. So they are really kind people, especially to the tourists. We welcome everybody with open arms. It's very, it's like, yes, come sit down. Very Southern. It's very, very Southern hospitality.
I love that. And it's interesting. It's so interesting that you say that too. Today I had this thought during mid breakdown. And I don't even know where it came from, but it was a vision. And it was me speaking to someone who would look like you. And they weren't listening to me from here. They were so stuck here on the differences. And I'm like, okay. And I was like, just close your eyes and listen. Like, stop being so obsessed with the tangible and the 3D and listen with your heart instead of seeing what I look like and looking at the differences and and just seeing division. I was like, there's no separation, right? And it was this whole thing. And it was really, like, it sounds convoluted and drawn out, but it was like, a quick vision. Maybe it was in the Bahamas.
Oh. It could, it could. So do you remember what the conversation was about?
I was speaking to them about spirit, about God, and trying to kind of get through, like, you're clawing at the wall, and I'm just trying to like poke a hole to get through for them to hear me. And I don't know how I was presented with this person. I don't know. But all I saw was that.
They're super religious down there. I would say even the public school has some religious affiliation.
Interesting. Okay.
And then you have to say yes, ma'am, yes, sir to everybody. So it's
that's
like
normal.
And it's expected, and then it's with your older people. Yes, ma'am, yes, sir. It's very form. It can be very formal.
Interesting. Okay,
And then,
so
like I said,
then are they, because like on,
British. We were under British rule, so we do drink a lot of tea. And
oh,
yeah,
okay.
and then yeah, they do have the Queen still on the money, I believe. We got our independence in the 1970s.
Okay.
Yeah, so it wasn't that long ago. It's only 50 years.
So when I was on Maui, I was like, okay, do you guys have like your own? Because in New Zealand, obviously they have te ao more, so it's like it's waitua, it's spirit, it's this, it's what we do.
Mm.
On Maui, not so much. Like they have churches everywhere, and I was actually kind of shocked. And I was like, so are there not a lot of people who are still with, you know, the land and the trees and the air and the
That's
river?
No, a lot of the people, ended up dispersing when they were invaded. And it was, according to that book, Tales of the Night Rainbow, they were invaded by Tahitians.
Okay.
And I forget the other one, but those people over there are not the originals. A
Okay.
lot of those have been either mixed out or left. If you do read the book, the lady who wrote the book, and her name was such a beautiful name. It was Woman Keeper of the Islands. It was something like that. She just ended up like, see, they gave the right name to her,
Yeah.
and she ended up writing that book. And this is a book that is like a legendary book where even on Reddit, people are discussing that it's like the most, life-changing book, because it shared how tribes were broken down when they were invaded, and how, so even school, and this is inside me too. This is like, school
Right.
just feels like a bunch of bullshit. Like I hate school. I do. I mean, when I say that, I mean elementary, like K through 12. I just feel like it's not something that's really evolving into anything more. The kids are getting bored. Like it's just
Right.
really 3D stuff. And the kind of schooling they had when it was the times of when tribes were together, where everybody was a village, to the
Yep.
point that the kids didn't even know who their real birth parents were. Everybody was their parent in the village, according to that book. And
Hmm.
she said what they spent learning all day under the supervision of whoever was assigned to them as their teacher or mentor, was them working on their spiritual gifts all day long, working on, some things that would be even secret now, that things that we have the ability to do that we can't do anymore, or that we don't know how to do anymore, because we're so disconnected from ourselves and our true powers ever since being indoctrinated and also colonized.
Hmm.
So, um, yeah. So, I mean, so then she even talks about that, how they started building more and more churches. And the more
Okay.
churches and stuff it was more missionaries that came to the land, and then everything, the culture completely changed. And she said she was even being ridiculed for sleeping in her spiritual place and going and visiting her, but she was starting to be ridiculed by other people. And that was almost forbidden ever since Christianity came in. And she
Mm.
was saying they still have their God or whatever. I mean, and it was all about light and love. And it was surprising that she used the term light and love, because the original, I always think about this. What was the original religion, if there was one? What was the original spirituality before religion came in? Because there was an original truth before we were indoctrinated,
Absolutely.
and it was still so much about, having your individual relationship with the Most High, with the Creator. And they had that so much
Yeah.
so that they also had the powers inside them, that they could do things that people would consider magical. A fisherman would be catching fish intuitively.
Hmm.
Like a farmer would be growing plants intuitively. Like
Hmm.
everything was so connected to the land. So when they were invaded, all of that disconnected, because also with the invaders came war, killing, and violence, and a kind of violence they never knew before. That so much so that
Wow.
they didn't even have their own army, and the Tahitians laughed at them in the book. They laughed at them in the book, saying, "You guys are so foolish for not having your own army." But why would they need to if they were a village, a true one where everybody was family?
Right.
But that's what she said. She said that we were naive for thinking and feeling life, light, and love, and assuming that everybody else was the same way.
Mm.
but they assumed that because that was their reality. So when we say that, oh, everybody's a hopeless sinner or what, it's just like, but was everybody? I think some of us, and I will say it like this, some of us have more natural light inside of us and have more of a natural inclination to transcend the 3D world.
Mm-hmm.
And that means transcending the things that would
Yep.
tempt you into going, deep into your root chakra and unbalancing that whole, it's like some of
Yeah.
us have our, chakras in alignment. So we
Yeah.
don't desire to do things that would put us out of balance. That's how I'll put it.
Yeah.
So and I think some of us have more of an inclination to that because we still need to work on cleansing ourselves,
Yeah.
and I think they say that when your chakras are aligned, no parasites can penetrate you because your energy is too high. But how often do we all stay in balance with all of our chakras?
Yeah, it's tough.
So I think back in that time, because they had village and they had spiritual support, it was much easier to stay aligned. But even then, people still got injuries, and she still had an experience about having to go to another village and realizing that they are all connected. Even how she thought about her village, and then she had to go get help. It was her and a group of the village people had to go and get help for this elder who had an injury. And it was in that journey that she realized that, wow, this guy's a seer too in this other village, and he knows about what my grandpa should do too. It was like she was surprised by that because they were, tribalistic. So I mean, yeah. So and then the other village person from the other village gave a premonition about one of the tribal people who was going to die soon. And that's what he said. One of you, this person's going to die soon. So you need to spend time with your kids and your wife.
Wow.
And this was all in the book. And that was an experience for her because she realized, wow, we are connected more than I realized. That's what she said, that we're more connected, So yeah, girl, it's a deep book. And it was a book that was written in the 1800s. So it was during the time of when Hawaii was really starting to be, invaded, and that it only took 2 generations after her to dissolve the culture.
Yep.
And then for her to be considered woo-woo for going and visiting her old spiritual places and wanting to sleep there and even still practice her magical spiritual powers and stuff, people thought that was crazy. I mean, there was even another woo-woo part in that, but you'll have to read that part because it was like, wow,